Hey, this is Leon Shasteen in the podcast studio with two of my great friends, Jody and Abby Bills, here with our podcast, the first one, Miracle Farms Foundation, More Than Just About Money. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you, guys. I was doing a little research on you, Jody, kind of understand about what you've done, how far you've come. When you look at you and you look at Abby, you guys just fit everything that I feel like Miracle Farms is about. Foundation is you've served our country, you sit on local city council, you're doing everything out there to make it more than just about money. Tell me a little bit about how you started. We're going to kind of work backwards. You served in the Army, if I understand right. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, yeah. 20 years and then retired from the Army, active duty.
Okay. So you served, and then how did you wind up in Anna, Texas?
That's a long story, but I'll keep it short. So we actually had planned on moving to Oklahoma, which is where we're both originally from.
Okay.
Grew up and raised there, and then graduated high school and went on our own little ways. We were going to live in Oklahoma, and it became a little bit of a distance to be able to work at UTA, which was my last job as the senior military instructor. And to be able to drive from there back to Oklahoma was extremely difficult. We also had some things going on. We're a blended family, right? So we had some things going on personally as far as, being able to move to certain places and not being able to move to certain places. So that's really why we chose Anna, and we were just we were just renters. We were just literally renting in Anna because we didn't know that was going to be our forever home.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Abby, how have you enjoyed getting in? So you go from being a military wife to then coming into this situation to where now you guys are, own a business. Jody sits on the city council. You're doing multiple things. Tell us a little bit about your story and how you have literally just turned into just the person that you guys are feeding in the local city. It's more than just about money. Share a little bit about your story with us as well.
I was a nurse I'm still a nurse.
Okay.
It's 17 years now in the medical field. It was interesting. We got married at the end of his career in the Army. So there were times that he would be gone. That was interesting, having brand new babies and being on my own and working and, being in Texas with no family. So that it's not always been easy. It was... I would say that we weren't good stewards of our money during that time in the Army.
Oh, no.
And then we started the business, and we didn't, you don't know what you're doing. And, businesses, I don't know what the statistics are, but they don't typically, there's a big failure rate. And so, there was just a lot of pressure. We didn't know what we were doing, but we trusted that God had a plan for us, and
right.
So we just kept plugging along. I am not in nursing anymore. After COVID, it was just healthcare took a different direction, and we took a different direction, and so he encouraged me to kind of pursue the things that I love, and so that's what I did. And I'm no longer in nursing, and now I'm helping him in his business, and I have my own business. And
what do you do?
I have an online boutique, and I also manage all of our real estate. We do. We really enjoy real estate. We do commercial, residential, long-term rentals, short-term rentals. I handle all the marketing. I really enjoy that as well. But I am going to have to start outsourcing some things. I do have my hands full because, my priority is with our family. That's where I try to stay focused, is with our children and managing our home and things like that.
How old are the children?
We have 5 altogether. Like he said, we're a blended family. We have one that's about to be 25. We have one that just turned 17, a 13-year-old that'll be 14 in August, an 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old.
Oh, my, you need an FHA loan.
Can I just tell you that I'm so glad that you asked her their ages? I would have totally had to turn to you. I'd have started using my fingers and which one is this one. So I appreciate you asking her on that one. Thank you.
I know who's the brains out of this
absolutely,
deal,
absolutely.
It keeps behind every good man.
Don't ask him when our anniversary is.
Oh, yeah. Don't do that to me.
Well, I have a clock in my house that's a grandfather clock. I bought it at the state fair the year we got married, and it has that anniversary date in it.
You're wise beyond your years.
Yeah.
That's
and then
smart.
just for all of the guys out there, or a lady if you don't know, there is an app called Occasions. and you can download that app,
Okay.
and you can put. When I forgot my mother's birthday one year, she's in heaven now. You know, I went and found this app, and so that app literally you put your birthday in your phone, and then it pops up birthdays, and so if it wasn't for that, you know, I'd be in trouble. You
Bless
know?
him. He needs that.
I
I
that.
try to help him out as much as I
If
can.
nothing else happens today, I think that was a good thing for you bringing that up. That there's an app.
There is an app for everything.
So we stop getting in trouble.
Yeah, but you know, there's a side of this deal is that I think, you know, you brought up God, and I believe it really begins, if you're watching this podcast today, you know, I think it's Hebrews 4:2 says the answers are in your own house. If you're watching this today, your answer is literally here when you've got somebody like you guys that own a tax planning service, and you can literally come in and sit with that business owner and help them walk through every phase of their life and make sure. I've referred you clients over that, man, you've just taken them, fixed their problems, run with it. That's part of what this is about today, more than just about money. It's bringing great-minded, like business owners together and opportunities that maybe the people, like you're a nurse. My daughter's 27, works for a hospital, Medical City Frisco, as a nurse on the third floor, and now she's the generation that's coming up behind you. She needs to know you because you can help motivate and inspire her, because that medical field has changed. It's totally changed. And so, but making great connections, I've seen just what's going on in Anna over the last 5 to 10 years, the massive amount of growth that's going on, things that are happening here that, you know, if it hadn't have been for somebody like you taking time to go sit on the city council, want to make change, work with the EDC, and you guys come in together and trying to make a great difference in the city, where would the city be? You know, it takes all of us coming together. You know, and so to make that change, community for sure. You know, one of the things that I think that's very important is maybe if you would expand on with your tax business, you're not just a guy that sits there and does books and accounting. You have multiple different things through your company. Share with us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I noticed very early on when I started the tax office, right? We were your typical tax office that you're going to see, January through April. You're going to file your taxes, and we were really just inputting data. And there was a group of people specifically, like the business owner, people with, I don't want to say wealthy people, but I would say, people with money that they needed to be able to protect that money, without lying and cheating, right? Like actually using the code, which is designed that way for you to really kind of protect yourself away from a lot of the different things that people don't understand. So when we started going towards that, we started having more touch points with our business clients, right? We rolled out bookkeeping because that's the number one thing. If you're a business owner, you've got to have some form of bookkeeping. Payroll, we were able to start forming businesses for people, close businesses down for people. Once we started doing that and we started getting involved with the client throughout the year versus January through April, then our clients actually started seeing more money in their business, more money in their pocket, right? Because we already knew the deal. We already knew when I filed your business return in March and your personal return shortly after, we really kind of knew what you were going to owe if you were going to owe anything. So when we started doubling down on that, I would say our business, it basically like tripled.
Blew up.
And we sustained 30, I think right now we're at 33% growth currently for the year. And we have not had less than 25% growth since that kind of epiphany happened, to move away from, hey, I'll see you in January through April and won't talk to you again until January through April.
Right. So what you're saying to me is, and my deal's a little bit different. I have somebody that just kind of watches everything for me, and I send it to her, and she takes care of it.
Yeah.
But you also can do that. So if you're that mid cap, like the people that I happen to refer him was that, they had a landscaping company, they had a house cleaning business, and they're over here, over there, over here.
Yep.
It's about when you get somebody that has the level of attention like you do, Abby and Jody, bring in the business and kind of put your hands around it. It lets that business owner go be themselves and work in their true gifting. Instead of having 5 employees, you can take that down to probably just your service could do away with 2 or 3 employees when it comes to accounting, payroll, processing, all of those things.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The fees that we're going to charge are actually in the long run are going to save you money. Right. Right. And just, I'll tell you, we've got a person that came on with us, I guess it's been a couple of months ago, and she's a licensed therapist, right? So she's got a doctorate and all that kind of stuff, but she's never actually walked through the process of having a structured business, right? Like a PLLC in her example, but she's never had that. So we're talking, she's paying $40,000, $50,000, $70,000 in taxes, where I just did two things. That's not even all the other things that we will eventually get her to. Two things, and I cut that in half just by those two things.
So one of the two things I think that the Bible even talks about is be the lender, not the borrower, is if you can understand how to save money on taxes, save money on your overall expenses, then Jody's the guy to come to. And he's the guy to help you with there.
Absolutely.
And money, you have to have money, Abby, to make things happen. So let's take it a step forward. Let's step back. Y'all come out of the military. You come to Anna. I'd heard through, you guys really had a struggle at one time, almost living in your cars, bumping and grinding. Let's talk about how you went from serving the military. And that's another thing Miracle Farms Foundation is about, is we have right now estimated between 200,000 to 250,000 military people retire out every year.
Right.
60% of them can't even buy food because they don't know how, they weren't really ever taught how to be financial literacy in the military. So our goal through Miracle Farms is to teach financial literacy, help feed local charities, and give homes away to wounded warriors. So as we're growing our businesses up, growing our charity up, you have to have money to give back.
Sure.
So let's talk about how you guys, because I think it's for real, is everybody sees you see us sitting here, you're dressed nice, you look good. Oh, they're just perfect. No, everybody has problems. Everybody has issues at one time or another.
Absolutely.
You get challenged, and I believe it's like your net worth equals your net worth. And so if you've got great people like you guys around you, helping your business, helping in your city, and coming back together, then what it's going to do is, even if somebody's bumping their head, having a problem, well, I know a guy you need to know. So share a little bit about that, if you would, how you struggled to where you're at today, if you would, just maybe 5 minutes about it.
Absolutely. I'll get started, and if I leave anything out, you by all means.
Well, let her kick in here too.
Go for it.
Because she had a different perspective from a woman's in the whole deal too. Probably just got married, had kids, everything else. And I think it's probably what drives Abby to be into so many things in the city and driving and community today to help as well. So,
absolutely, yeah, go for it.
So I'm going to move this because I feel like it's. Like I said, we started the new business, and it was we were very green, and we were so full of hope and just, it's going to be great. We're going to make so much money. And of course, when you buy into a franchise, they're selling you. So we bought it, hook, line, and sinker. And, we prayed about it, but I wouldn't, we were junior in our faith at that time. So we did pray about it, and we broke even the first year, which was a huge blessing. But we were such bad stewards of our money because of what you just said a few minutes ago, because they don't just teach you that in the military. They don't teach that to our kids, period.
Right.
It's up to parents to teach kids financial literacy. Well, if you don't know, then you don't know, and then you don't teach your kids, and then it's like a generational curse, right? It just repeats itself. So anyways, we made some poor choices. Times got really, really tough. Jody went to work at Walmart in the produce section. I had 5 jobs at one time, one of which was the business that I created out of thin air. It was it was an SOS. It was
do it or die.
We need money.
Thing.
Like, what else can I do that will not require a lot of my time while I'm working these other 4 jobs? And so, anyways, that's kind of what that looked like. It was rough. He also sold cars at CarMax. We did whatever we had to do to survive. It was frightening. It was terrifying. Just living the way we did. It was very scary.
Yeah.
All the while we had children and sports and expenses and a home and a business that we had invested a lot of money into. Lots of pressure.
Yep.
Especially for him, because, as Christians, we believe that he's the head of our house. So, while I managed the home, there was a lot of pressure on me too, right? Because I had 5 jobs, plus I'm managing the home. He had the majority of the pressure to provide. So, it was tough, and that was reflected in his mental health as
tough.
well.
Yeah.
And so he was not only coming out of, he didn't only have all this pressure of, supporting and providing, but he also was coming out of a 20-year career that was his identity. So add that on top of all of that, and it almost broke us. And we broke down, and I'm going to give a real quick synopsis, and then I'm going to let you take over and give your perspective.
Go for it.
We cried out to God, basically, and we're like, God, what do we do? What do we do here? We don't know what to do. And we kept seeing one of our, he's a guy in the franchise that we're in, and we kept seeing him. And he's working with this guy on social media, and he's doing these events, and he's going to Napa and doing these, networking things. And we're like, who is this guy? This little bald-headed guy. Who is this? And his name, I'm going to give him a shout-out, Coach Michael Burt. I hope we're allowed to do that.
Yeah.
He's a business coach. We were like, we got to get in this guy's circle. We got to get in this circle. We got to figure out what they know. They know something we don't know,
right.
And we got to do something bigger. We got to do something. So we invested money that
Probably didn't have, truth to be known.
We didn't really
We
have.
weren't even close to having it. I think I put it on a credit card. I know I put it on a credit card.
Yep. We invested the money. We invested the time. We got very uncomfortable in a room full of people that were way further ahead than us, that had more knowledge. We had some exposure to some really, really big thinkers and some a mindset that we were unaware of. And we really just made some massive changes. We made changes in our physical health. That was one of the big things we changed, because our physical health was clouding our judgment.
Right.
So that was where the momentum started, and everything changed after that.
Yep.
Go. Now it's your turn.
Okay, so she took 4 of the minutes, so I only get 1 minute.
Come on, man. Come on now.
You got this.
So I want to go back to what she was saying as far as my identity, right? So my identity was being in the military. I made rank very quickly, became in leadership, took men into combat. Thank God, brought all those men home, and did that multiple times, right? So that was my identity. My identity was success in the military. Well, I came out of the military, did not manage money, right? Like my military career, I had a retirement check, and that was it. I didn't have any other money that I had put aside for anything, because I was basically living for the moment, right? Get the money, spend the money. Get the money,
So
spend the
you were
money.
eating the bread and the seed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was nothing left for anybody else, especially for myself later on down the road, right?
Right.
So get out of the military, go
So
into
let's
business.
pause for a second.
Yeah.
So if you're a business owner and you're in that same situation today, you need to know Jody, because what Jody at Liberty Tax is going to do is they're going to come around you and they're going to help you have an identity in every department, where if it is help paying your bills,
Yep.
if it's saving. The people that you're working with, I told them, I said, look, if you're paying your tithes and offerings, you ought to think enough of yourself to save the same amount of money every month.
Absolutely.
Because you've got to do both. You're as important as God is.
Yeah.
Because you're somebody else's miracle.
Right.
Now, go ahead.
That's
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. So our first year, tax season, right? We were a typical January through April 15th. April 15th was over with. I had worked 90 to 100 and something hours a week, right? I was putting in 12, 13, 14-hour days. And we had right at about $16,000 in our business account. We just started spending the money, right? Like we were gonna just start getting another $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000 a month in our business, and we did not. So spent the money. Then rent came and all those kind of things. That's when we started spiraling out of control. And I'll be completely honest with anybody, right? Because you said this a little bit ago. Hey, we're here. You've got a nice shirt. I've got a nice shirt. We look like we're put together very well. But I will tell this to anybody that wants to listen. I was suicidal. I was straight up suicidal, to the point where Abby was on her 5th job, right? We were not making it. We were about to have to start living out of our car, right? Like that final letter came and said, if you don't do something, we're going to take the house from you. And I lost it. And I'll never forget it till the day I die. It was one of the most weirdest feelings I've ever had in my life because I'd never been in that position before. But I was sitting there. I was feeling doom. I was feeling despair. I was like, what am I going to do? I'm the provider. I'm not providing anything, right? Like my wife is working and working and working. And who am I? Like I was in the army. I went to war. I came back. I made it through all that. And now this has defeated me. This has beaten me, right? So I was beaten to the point to where I'm like, I just need to get a shower. I just need to take a shower, just rinse all this icky off of me. And maybe when I come out of the shower, I'll be a different person, right? That was my mindset. Got out of the bed, 9 o'clock in the morning. She was already at work and had been there for 2 or 3 hours. Go into the shower, taking a shower, and then I started actually developing a plan on how I was going to take my life. I had been in the Army for 20 years. I'd gone through training. I knew what it was like. When you start getting to that point where you're going to develop the plan, it is not good.
Not good.
And we had already had all that training so that we could identify it for our soldiers. So I go back to the bed. I lay down in the bed, and I'm like, I have a plan right now. This is not good. And the only thing that I could do was call the person that God created for me, right, was Abby. And I called her, and I'm like, you got to answer the phone. She's at the hospital busting her butt, right? She's like, what do you need? I'm super busy. And I'm like, I'm scared. I'm scared that I'm going to take my own life. And she's like, I'll be home in just a minute. She comes home. We talk about things. We pray about things. But just that aspect of God sending her to me to let me know that I'm not alone and that there's somebody else there that's going to walk this walk with me. It was 48 hours later, and I woke up and I was a completely different person. Completely different person. I had a mindset that this is a partnership, right? This is a partnership, right? We're not in this alone. We're not created to do this alone. And then I started digging into the Word. I started getting knowledge from other people, right? We started reaching out to people who knew more than what we did so that we could learn and grow in them. And that mind shift has led us to where we are today, right? We're not arrived. We are still wanting and doing more and creating partnerships with Miracle Farms Foundation, things like that, right? Because that's what we're called to do. We're not called to do this on our own.
No.
So I would encourage anybody that's listening, right? We are just like you. The biggest thing to remember is we've got to create partnerships. The power is in the partnership. God didn't just create Adam and then say, that's it, I'm done, see y'all later, right? He created Eve as well. And there's strength in that, right? Where there are three, right? There are two or more, right? We come together, we grow individually, collectively, and before you know it, we do big things, right? We're in the cities. We're feeding thousands of people. We're raising up businesses. We have employees. We're providing a pay for them that they can live on and sustain on. And I'm a firm believer in all of those things.
Right. Well, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. It's Miracle Farms. How we just kind of wound up out here, Abby, we were living in Castle Hills in 2018, had a beautiful home. And then all of a sudden this came available and I began to have a vision. And then all of a sudden that vision happened. I didn't, the Bible talks about God will give you homes you didn't build.
Right.
I didn't build this home. The only thing I built out here is the barn and a little bit of concrete, and the rest of it was already all here.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we come from the city to here, and then evaluations go crazy, and then one thing led to another, and now we're sitting here and we're sitting in a podcast studio talking about, and it's very personal to me because I've had those feelings. I had, when COVID hit, I'm going down the road and somebody said, I just felt the Spirit pull a gun out and blow your brains off. I mean, anywhere we had a chance to make a dime stopped. I know of 2 incidences last year that 2 pastors committed suicide. I will tell you, if you're listening to this podcast, you have a problem or you need somebody to pray for you or need somebody, everybody in this room will take a phone call. Reach out, because it's not just about the money. It's more than just about money. It's what this podcast is about.
Absolutely.
You've got a gentleman sitting here, guys, that not only owns a business in our local city, his wife owns businesses, I own businesses. Now he sits in the government, city council. He's taking God into the highways and byways and trying to make a change. And as we begin to do that, it takes all of us.
Absolutely.
It takes all of it. I
Absolutely.
mean, when you look at Miracle Farms Foundation, we talk about we need 1 million people helping, giving $25 a month. That'll get us to where we can give a house a day away to a wounded warrior.
Right.
It'll give us to where we can feed a trailer semi-load of food twice, 3 times a month. That's what it all takes. And I love this, and I've seen this. We've seen it just in things lately. Is people say my vote doesn't matter. Well, no, your vote does matter.
Yes.
But $25, maybe you can't go feed a trailer load of food, but $25 or helps. But what is crazy is when you get people like you around you that has experienced what you've experienced, and then you can stop a business from struggling, or you can show them where the pitfalls are and bring it all together.
Yep.
Then it brings peace.
Yes.
I mean, there was this deal that I seen a couple months ago that it says 80% of every employee spends an hour a day worrying about money.
Absolutely.
On the job, and an employer's paying for that. So what if you are a small mid-cap business owner, you come to Jody, you get, I believe if the leader is right, and your I seen this one time. It says if you're the covering of, you brought it up, of your home or a business, we as business owners, we're business pastors. That's part of our business. If our umbrella doesn't have a hole in it, then nobody else gets wet. And so if you help that small to mid-cap business owner, then you can help all the way down the line.
Right.
And make a change.
Absolutely.
And make a huge change.
Yep.
And that's what this is about, more than just about money. It's bringing businesses together where they can reach out, do things, make change in our local cities. And if we do that, we don't need the government.
Yeah.
We don't
Absolutely.
We don't need the government. You guys talk about what you do on feeding every year at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had it put on our heart from another Liberty Tax franchisee in Southern Texas, and he's way down in the south.
The same one that got us connected with the business coach.
The same one that got us connected with the business coach, right? And he provides a full-up meal for everybody in his community, right? I think he tries to feed 5,000 people every single year. I don't know if he makes it, but right, like we got to have lofty goals. He's trying to do that. And we set in like a little phone call with him, and we actually gave money. And he was like, hey guys, I appreciate your money. I'm so thankful that you're giving me money. But what would be way better is if you tried to do this. Why don't you try to do this in your town? And as soon as he said that, I'm like, why can't we do that in our town? Why can't we recreate? He's the guy.
So who puts the meals together for you? How do you buy the meal already done? Does somebody do that?
Well, it's not. Or you mean as far as it's cooked and ready to go?
No, as far as to give it away.
Oh, so what we do is we ask for donations, right? In the form of money, in the form of canned goods or whatever, non-perishables, and then we use the money. I'm sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
We use the money to go and actually buy the turkeys, right? So we're asking. We let's say we're going to feed 500 people, which last year we came very close to feeding not 500 people, 500 families.
Families, okay.
So we figure out a family of 4 to 5 needs this much green beans, this much corn, yada, yada, yada. And then we backwards plan off of that. We start planning, I think, in August. And we'll start planning on how much we need, how much money we need. And then we're going and we're asking people like Miracle Farms, hey, can you provide 40 meals? And then we tell you what that looks like. And then maybe you're like, well, hey, I can't feed 40 people total, but I could give you 80 turkeys or whatever. So then we start piecemealing it together, and then it comes out to the finished product at the end of the day.
So I know you're not out there packing in boxes all by making Abby. You have a ninth job, 10th job.
We've got a ton of people that come in every single year and help us. Grace Place.
Do you do it out of your office, or do you go to Grace Place to do it?
We actually go to the church that we attend, which is First Anna.
Okay.
But Grace Place partners with us. So they collect food there, and then they actually come over on the day of issuing. So it's our church, and then it's Grace Place, their church, and there'll be 30 to 50 people out there, and we just do an assembly line, and people pull up and they park, they come over. We've got everything set up to where they are not just assembly line. They get to pick the food in the lines that they want, right? So they've got
Kind of like grocery shopping.
kind of like grocery
They get to
shopping,
go
right?
through
Because some
and see what they
people
want.
have that mindset, like I don't want to take.
Yes.
So you're not taking anything. You're going through the line and you're grabbing this food and it's what you need, right? So that's how we do it, and then
have
we
a little
make sure
tent where we pray.
we've got a tent
If
where
they
we pray
want
for
prayer,
people.
they don't.
If they don't, that's completely fine, right? But that's how we do it. We backwards plan, and we start in August. We partner with a couple of different churches, and then we partner with a lot of business owners. Okay. A lot of business owners raise a lot of money. I would say probably anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 in the last 2 or 3 years that we've been given just straight cash.
Okay.
And it could be from any kind of business in Anna. Really, like we've had people that I've known in the military that have donated because we'll put it on our social media, and somebody that I know that might be in Fort Bragg.
Some of our business clients that are, in other states all over the United States, they donate.
Yeah.
It's really shocking to see how many people are in need. We look around us and, we all feel very safe, and like you look around and everybody's got a home, and it's Anna, and it's not cheap to live there, and we look around and we think that people are, but when you see the people come lining up, and they're people that look just like us, and they've got kids, and they're down on their luck, and
2 weeks before, didn't want to get the food. We had a woman last year, she had just lost her job in November. Or I'm sorry, at the first part of November. They told her in October she wasn't going to get food from us. And then she actually called, because we have another woman, her name is Carol, and she has an organization. It's not even a nonprofit. She just tries to put people in places and put people together and like, hey, this person needs money, this person needs food, blah, 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 blah. And they're just, she's a wonderful woman. She's in the community, and she's trying to make things happen. And she's like, hey, guys, she wasn't on the list, but I know she needs help. And we're like, absolutely, right? So that woman was making $60,000 a year, had 2 kids, was living in an apartment and doing fine. Not doing great, but doing fine. And then all of a sudden she had that pulled out from under her right around the holidays. And there's tons of people that are like that.
Right.
So
yeah, we can't save the world. We understand that.
Absolutely.
But our goal is to try to focus and help as much as we can. So,
yes.
So I'm very interested to carry, Abby, a path down with you guys, because we're seeing other people in all these major cities. We're estimated to have in Dallas-Fort Worth by 2030, 10 million people living here.
Yes.
Just in Dallas-Fort Worth. Yep. And in the state of Texas, over 40 million people. And so there's needs there that need to be met. And part of what Miracle Farms is about is it amazes me how I'm so proud of you guys and your church and Grace Place here in Anna coming together, Pastor Leif and these guys, other churches working together.
Yes.
In so many cities, you'll have 20 churches and you got people living on the street and nobody does anything.
Right.
And so part of what Miracle Farms is about is bringing communities together. And so I really would like, as weeks to come, put together what that box really looks like, and can we, like this year, maybe with another church, already have a semi-load of trailer food already boxed put together for them, and we just send it to them and give it away to let them give away in their community and start
That's fantastic.
that. And so, like right now on our website, it's called Pack the Big Rig. We're raising, you can feed a family of 48 families, 1,126 meals for like $2,206.
Yeah.
Wow.
But to do that and help with, so it's literally an opportunity. So I'm very interested for Miracle Farms to partner with you this year. I've already told you that.
Yes.
As money comes in to do more and be a part of it. But I think it's also, could you just send a somebody that maybe that mid-cap church that doesn't have the wherewithal to do it, but send it and teach them how to do it, and then they get the recognition for it, and then all of a sudden, here you go. Now you planted a seed.
Absolutely.
Planted a seed for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I would hope and encourage, once this is done, and I know you all are going to give it to us so that we can put it on our social media, I would encourage anybody that sees any of this, just go to Miracle Farms Foundation. Go look at the website. I've looked at it multiple times, right? It's fairly easy if you want to donate $10, $15, $25, whatever the case is. If you've got it, right? I'm not telling you to strap yourself. If you've got $10, $15, $20, $50 and you want to make a donation.
Or you're the guy that can write $1 million check.
There you go. Or you can write $1 million check. Either way, right? Like either way, it's not going to be turned away. It's going to be used for good. It's going to be used for giving back to the community. And then you're going to be involved in something that's bigger than yourself. That's the goal. That's what we always talk about, is get involved in something that's bigger than yourself in any way, shape, or form. Be a person that lifts up boxes or be somebody who donates $1 million check. But if we're all pulling the rope the same direction, right, then there's no telling how far we can pull it.
There's two ends of a rope. There's a guy, if a guy's just pulling away from you, it's hard to make that work. But I love a guy that gets on the end of that rope and pushes the rope as you pull it, or comes to the other side and you both pull the same
Absolutely.
way. And
Absolutely.
What I love about you guys, you were so kind to us as we began to meet you guys, and then you see how much you really care about the city and see about how, I had a friend of mine up in Lawton, Oklahoma. It's stories on our website, some stuff we've done there. But he goes, when I came to Lawton, Oklahoma, I feel like God gave me Lawton, and I'm supposed to love it. And I kind of feel that's how you guys feel about it.
Absolutely.
Anna,
Yes.
you're supposed to love the city. You're supposed to
We
reach
didn't
into
want
the
to be there.
Yeah.
We had no desire to stay in Texas, and God literally slammed doors in our faces and said, this is where you're going to be. These are the people you're going to love. These people are going to care for you and be your family when you have no family here.
Yes.
And let me tell you, that community has been life-changing for us, and we love our community.
Amazing.
I don't
love our
live in
community.
Anna, but I'm close. You're
close enough, brother.
That's right.
You're close enough.
We'll count you as Anna.
One thing about Texas is you can say is versus Oklahoma or anywhere else in the world, it's not a long distance call to heaven in Texas.
Right.
You get outside of Texas, it gets a little pricey.
Yeah.
We love Texas. Texas has been very, very good to us. We still have roots, and we have really deep roots in Oklahoma as far as our lineage and our family goes. And we love Oklahoma. That'll always be our home. But man, we have really, this community in Anna, we have just met so many people who have just impacted our life. And that's I truly believe that you reap what you sow. And whether you want to take that from a biblical standpoint or not, it's if you want to call it karma or whatever your language is, like you reap what you sow. So I believe that if we put good things out there, that we will be blessed. And that doesn't mean with money, but just like when we were down and out in our very difficult times, we had so many people there caring for us and loving us and lifting us up and edifying us. And so I'm super excited to partner with you guys in the future at Miracle Farms.
Vice versa, our ultimate goal is, I don't know, you guys have seen it, but people would come to Anna. I mean, literally from where your guys' office is, I would estimate probably conservative. There's probably 1,000 doors being built right now of new people coming to the city, minimum, with apartments and houses being built.
Probably I would say 3,000.
Within
doors.
within a 3 to 5 mile radius of just your office.
Yep.
And so when you look at that, there's huge opportunity if you want to live in Anna or you need a place to get partnered with somebody. And I believe, God, it's funny that you guys brought this up, but I've been working on maybe it's for me, but I've been working on a page, and I think I'll get to speak it at a men's ministry or something like that somewhere. But identity. What does your true identity really look like? And when you see that, you're talking about
big.
Karma, what it really, I think, gets down to is when that day that child is born, they're given an identity.
That's right.
And they're given a date of birth. And then they're given, when they're put in the ground, they're given another day. It's that dash in the middle that makes all of the difference. And that identity, and so many times us as parents or business owners, we can shift that person's identity by how we treat them.
Absolutely.
And so what I've really, with Miracle Farms, and, I was always that rough guy that, just told it like it was. Thank God I've got people like Alastair around me that slaps me, keeps me straight, and stuff. But when it really gets down to it is we begin to understand our true things that we do. And when you identify the day that you were born is the most important day, and when you really identify what your true identity is, then you can walk and something changes it. And that's what I feel like you guys have done. It's not only being a business owner, it's sitting on city council, it's owning businesses, but helping and trying to make change in the city.
Absolutely.
So if you want to know more about these guys, man, first of all, I just want to thank you for being here today. But second of all, if you want to know more about them, go to their website, check them out. We'll put their websites up. And if you want to help with Miracle Farms, that website is helpbeamiracle.com. Go check it out. And we just thank you guys so much for taking time to share your story. It lets people realize that you're for real.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you're for real. And you want to change and you want to help. And Abby, I just thank you so much for taking time. I know you're busy with kids and everything else. Keeping him straight, your
That's the biggest thing.
Your
That's a big
six-man child, you know.
It's a big job.
It's a big
gotta
job.
do it.
Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
But we just thank you guys so much
Thank
for
you
taking
for
time
having
and
us.
stepping in.
Yes, we're honored to be here.
And we hope that when this is played, wherever it is, if you are struggling with anything that's we've been talked about on this podcast, reach out. Somebody will be here
Absolutely.
to help you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Be here to help you.
Please reach out.
Please reach out.
Don't take that
Yeah.
and hold that onto your own.
Yeah.
Power in partnerships. That's what I always say.
Power and partnerships. That's exactly right.
Yep.
I know of this one pastor, and he had climbed up under a porch and committed suicide. And I asked the question, who missed that guy? Who didn't see something? And so if you're out there looking or you're struggling or something, please, we repeat it again, is mental health is a big thing. It's as big as physical health. And if you need help, reach out to us. We'll share with you, get you to somebody.
Yep. Absolutely.
I appreciate you so much. Thanks for taking time. Thank you guys once again for coming in.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.